Munshi Premchand spent his career observing early 20th century Indian society. Instead of focusing on grand, mythical epics, he built his legacy by documenting the quiet, insidious corruption of ordinary people. His work consistently points to a chilling truth. The most devastating betrayals rarely come from external enemies or cartoonish villains. They happen when the family members closest to us simply let go, operating out of casual, everyday selfishness. To see exactly how wide this spectrum of betrayal runs, we are going to examine two of his distinct stories. One revolves around a simple plate of food in a village courtyard, and the other centers on a royal throne. By comparing these two drastically different environments, we can observe how human greed and pride operate entirely independent of wealth or social class. Looking at this opening page from Premchand's original Hindi manuscript for Budi Kaki, we are introduced to an elderly, disabled aunt. She surrendered her entire property to her nephew Budiram, who secured her wealth using a series of false promises. Stripped of her assets and her physical mobility, her only remaining earthly tether is her sense of taste. Her family views this singular desire as a nuisance, choosing to lock her away and confine her to a dark, isolated room. Scanning further down the page, the inciting incident arrives. The household is celebrating a tilak ceremony, a major pre-wedding festival. The overwhelming scent of frying puris and rich spices drifts into Kaki's room, driving the starving woman to crawl out toward the feast. Instead of offering her a meal, Rupa's wife, Rupa, violently berates the elderly woman in front of the guests. Budiram then physically grabs his aunt and drags her back to her confinement, while the visitors continue eating. The only member of the household to show any pity is Budiram's young daughter, Ladli. She sneaks a tiny portion of her own food to Kapi, but the small gesture completely fails to satisfy the older woman's ravenous hunger. Budiram and his wife represent the extreme end of domestic betrayal. The moment they acquired Kaki's material wealth, they entirely discarded their basic familial empathy. Driven to absolute madness by her hollow stomach, Kaki waits until the dead of night and crawls back out into the empty courtyard. In this dense paragraph detailing the story's climax, Premchand describes a horrific scene. Kaki is picking through the Juthi Patel, the discarded, soiled leaf plates left behind by the guests, eating the leftover crumbs like a stray animal. Rupa wakes up and discovers her elderly aunt scavenging in the dirt. The sight instantly shatters her conscience. She is forced to look at the full, depraved extent of what she allowed to happen under her own roof. Rupa breaks down weeping. She prays for divine forgiveness for her cruelty, and then immediately prepares and serves her aunt a fresh, respectful meal. The story of Budi Kaki acts as a harrowing mirror for society. It warns that stripping the elderly and vulnerable of their basic dignity is an unforgivable moral failure. Moving from a village courtyard to a royal palace, this original text for Raja Hardal introduces us to a completely different social strata. Here we meet Raja Jujhar Singh, his younger brother Hardal, and Queen Kulina of the Orcha kingdom. Hardal is depicted as a flawless, noble character. He acts as a brave, just ruler whenever his brother is away on campaigns, and he treats Queen Kulina with absolute, pure maternal respect. The conflict ignites when Raja Jujhar Singh returns to the capital. He witnesses his younger brother's immense popularity with the public, and his mind is rapidly poisoned by toxic jealousy. Consumed by paranoia, Jujhar falsely accuses his wife of infidelity. He delivers a horrific ultimatum. She must prove her chastity by serving Hardal poisoned food. Queen Kulina is trapped in an agonizing paradox. She must choose between murdering an innocent hero or facing the violent wrath of her deeply suspicious husband. High status provides zero protection against base human flaws. Hardal soon learns of his brother's fatal suspicion from a palace maid. He quickly realizes that an irrational, deeply rooted jealousy cannot be cured with logical arguments or defensive pleas. This final page details his deliberate, shocking choice. Hardal visits the weeping queen with a smile on his face. He willingly asks for the poisoned betel leaf and drinks the toxic halahal to clear her name. Hardal dies a martyr. His sacrifice, plunging the entire kingdom into endless mourning, leaves Raja Jujhar Singh marked with a permanent stain of guilt. The lesson here is that true bravery doesn't require swinging a sword on a battlefield. Sometimes it demands the willingness to sacrifice yourself entirely to protect the innocent from blind suspicion. Premchand proves that a dusty village storeroom and a gilded palace are equally susceptible to moral rot. In both of these tragedies, the actual villain was selfishness. Bhudiram's greed and Jujhar's jealousy created a specific kind of blindness that completely erased the humanity of their victims. These stories operate as urgent warnings for the modern viewer. They challenge us to look at our own lives. Are we neglecting the people who depend on us simply because it's convenient? Are we letting unverified jealousy dictate how we treat the people we love? True humanity requires us to choose active empathy today, before a tragedy forces a devastating wake-up call tomorrow.